Well, it is 5 o'clock, so I will call to order the September 2020 meeting of the City of Moorhead Planning Commission and Board of Adjustments. Robin, can I get a roll call, please?
Mattson?
Here.
Hammer?
Here.
Beam?
Here.
McKinstra?
Here.
Stone? I don't see him on yet, but he may still come. Lindos?
Here.
And Haney?
Here.
Okay. Does anybody have anything they need to, any amendments to the agenda? Hearing none, can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
I move, this is Jim McKinster, I move to approve the agenda.
Haney, second.
Any discussion? Okay, can we get a roll call, please?
Mattson?
Yes.
Hammer? Hammer? I think we lost him. Beam?
Yes.
Nope, I'm still here.
Oh, you there? Okay. McKinstra?
Yes.
Tim Stone? Steve or Lindos?
Yes.
Haney?
Yes.
And did we get a vote recorded from Ben Hammer?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes from the August meeting, please?
This is McKinster, I move to approve the minutes from the August meeting.
This is Jim Haney. I second.
Okay, any discussion? Anybody have any changes to the minutes at all? Okay, it doesn't sound like it. So can I get a roll call vote on the motion to approve the minutes?
Mattson?
Yes.
Hammer?
Yes.
Beam?
Yes.
McKinstra?
Yes.
Lindos?
Yes.
Haney?
Yes.
Okay. Robin, do we have any citizens to be heard this evening on any issues that are not on the agenda?
Madam Chair, we do not.
Okay, we're going to move on to our first public hearing. The first public hearing is the request of Houston Engineering for vacation of easement within Astrup's second edition. Can I get a motion to open the public hearing, please?
This is McKinster, I move to open the public hearing.
Jim Haney, second.
Discussion? Okay,
Second.
Robin, what? Robin, can I get a roll call vote, please?
Mattson?
Yes.
Hammer?
Yes.
Beam?
Yes.
McKinstra?
Yes.
Lindos?
Yes.
Haney?
Yes.
Okay, Robin, do you have any background information for us this evening?
Thank you, Chair Mattson and Commissioners. The applicant is requesting a vacate 9 feet of an existing 30-foot easement that runs east to west through this parcel to accommodate a new office building. The applicant is replacing the 9 feet on the southern portion of the 30-foot easement in case there may be a future need for further utility installation. Utilities serving Moorhead were contacted as is required by regulations, and one comment was received from Sparklight, which is, I believe, formerly Cable One. Sparklight, if Sparklight does have an infrastructure in the area of the vacation, the applicant owner would be responsible for relocating the private utility at their cost. Staff is suggesting the Planning Commission recommend approval contingent upon the 2 listed conditions in your report. And to date, we have not received any other comments. Please let me know if you have any questions. Brian Patengale from Houston Engineering is also on the meeting if you have any questions for him.
Thank you, Robin. Do any of the commissioners have any questions for Robin or for Mr. Patengale?
No. No.
Doesn't sound like it. Mr. Pattengill, is there anything else you'd like us to know before we vote on this request?
No, this is pretty straightforward. It's just a simple, we need a little room to fit some parking up on the front at the request of the building owner. So we had to slide the building a little bit further to the south. So essentially there's no utilities in this existing easement already that we're aware of. So we're basically just going to pick it up and sort of slide it south a little bit to accommodate the new building that they're putting in.
Okay, thank you very much. Robin, are there any citizens who wish to be heard either for or against the requested action?
There are not.
Okay, can I get a motion to close the public hearing, please?
McKinstry, I move to close the public hearing.
Jim Haney, second.
Any discussion? Can I get a roll call vote, please?
Mattson,
Yes.
Hammer,
Yes.
Beam,
Yes.
McKinstry,
Yes.
Lindos,
Yes.
Haney.
Yes.
Okay. Can I get a motion on the item, please?
I'm not sure how to word that. I'll move to,
I would say maybe something like to approve based on the recommended
yeah.
action.
I'll move to approve based on the recommended actions of what's been presented to the Planning Commission.
Robin,
Haney, second.
Robin, is that sufficient?
Yes.
Okay, and we have a second for Mr. Haney. Any discussion? Doesn't sound like it. Seems pretty straightforward to me. So, Robin, can I get a vote on the motion, please?
Mattson,
Yes.
Hammer,
Yes.
Beam,
Yes.
McKinstry,
Yes.
Lindos,
Yes.
and Haney.
Yes.
Okay, the motion passes. And that is that for that public hearing. So we are now going to move on to our next public hearing, which is the request of Jay Hohenstein for a vacation of easements within Prairie Meadows 6th edition. Can I get a motion to open the public hearing, please?
McKinstry, I move to open the public hearing.
Second.
Any discussion? Can I get a roll call vote, please?
Mattson,
Yes.
Hammer,
Yes.
Beam,
Yes.
McKinstry,
Yes.
Lindos,
Yes.
and Haney.
Yes.
Robin, can I get background information, please?
Certainly. Thank you, Chair Mattson and Commissioners. The applicant is requesting to vacate 2 5-foot easements that run north to south along a shared lot line for a proposed twin home development. When this property was originally platted, these easements were designed with detached structures in mind, so that's why there's easements around the entire, each one of these parcels has easements around the entire parcel. No existing utilities in those 2 easements, and they are not needed for this construction project. Utilities serving Moorhead were contacted and no comments were received. Staff is suggesting the Planning Commission recommend approval contingent upon the 2 listed conditions in the staff report. And we did not receive any public comments. Just let me know if you have any other questions.
Thank you, Robin. Do any members of the commission have any questions for Robin?
No.
That doesn't sound like it. Robin, is the applicant?
I just wanted to clarification exactly why were the easements there in the first place?
Thank you, Chair and Commissioner Lindos. This subdivision was platted for single-family detached structures. So what this builder is essentially doing is taking 2 of those lots and putting a 0 lot line for a twin home. So that's why those 2 easements will no longer be needed. And we've actually done this exact thing many times in this same development. It's a very common request.
Yeah, and that I just wanted that kind of on the record. I thought that was the case.
Yep.
Thank you very much. Perfect. No more questions.
Anybody else have any questions for Robin?
No.
Okay. Robin, is the applicant present to address the commission?
He is not.
Okay. And are there any citizens who wish to be heard either for or against the requested action?
It doesn't appear so.
Okay. Can I get a motion to close the public hearing, please?
McKinstry, I move to close the public hearing.
Haney, second.
Any discussion? Can I get a roll call vote, please?
Mattson,
Yes.
Hammer,
Yes.
Beam,
Yes.
McKinstra,
Yes.
Lindos,
Yes.
Haney.
Yes.
Okay. Can I get a motion on the item, please?
This is McKinstra. I move to approve the vacation of easements that the city has recommended as presented to the Planning Commission.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? Nope. Okay. Robin, can I get a vote on the motion, please?
Mattson,
Yes.
Hammer,
Yes.
Beam,
Yes.
McKinstra,
Yes.
Lindos,
Yes.
and Haney.
Yes.
Okay, the motion passes. And we will move on to our next public hearing. So the next one is two parts. The first part is request of S Craft for the following reconsiderations at 2300 8th Avenue North. Item A, rezone 5.85 acres from RLD3 residential low density 3 to CC community commercial. Can I get a motion to open the public hearing, please?
This is McKinstra. I move to open the public hearing.
Second.
Any discussion? Can I get a roll call vote, please?
Mattson,
Yes.
Hammer,
Yes.
Beam,
Yes.
McKinstra,
Yes.
Lindos,
Yes.
and Haney.
Yes.
Can we get background information, please, Robin?
Certainly. The applicant's requesting the rezoning and the comprehensive plan amendment to accommodate the development of a self-storage facility in the southeastern portion of the parcel. So this piece of property is over 19 acres. He would just be rezoning a little over 5 acres. The project will require a conditional use permit and therefore would come before this board again when the site plan is finalized. So you will see the actual layout later if he does move forward with the conditional use permit. Whereas the existing zoning is RLD3, which is a low density residential district, the future land use plan did include some community commercial at the corner of Highway 75 and 8th Avenue North. This change would just shift that land use further east along 8th Avenue North. The use would be consistent with the development patterns along the highway corridor, and staff is suggesting that the Planning Commission recommend approval contingent upon, recommending approval. And to date, we have not received any public comments. I believe the applicant is on the call if you have any questions. Otherwise, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you, Robin. I had emailed you and asked you about the construction that's going on just to the south of that parcel on the south side of 8th Avenue North, because it's a neighborhood and I walk over there all the time. And so I was just curious as to what's going in on the other side of that avenue. And I believe you told me that the expectation, there's not a building permit yet, but the expectation is on the south side of 8th Avenue, there will be, 46 units of affordable housing in a 2-story building with garages. Is that correct?
Correct.
And so that is directly to the south of where this rezoning request is.
To the south and east a little bit.
Okay, perfect.
Across 8th Avenue, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so do any commissioners have any questions for Robin or for the applicant?
This is Brent Beam. I'm just curious as to the use, I see public institutional to the east and to the north of this property, but there's really, I can't detect anything based on that of what the intent is for those or future plan for those lots. Is this something that might impact future use of those lots, this rezoning?
Chair Maxon, Commissioner Beam, I believe, let me just double check my zoning map here. I don't know, for the zoning, it is listed as public institutional for the property just to the east, but the future land use actually indicates low density residential. And then the properties to the north that are zoned institutional, that's actually city, there's some city park that's included in that. And it's a park, but most of the city owned properties end up institutionally zoned.
Okay.
I don't believe that, I can't foresee what would, if the city would ever change anything, because on that corner piece, I don't recall what's on that corner piece, if anything, but I know Centennial Park is right next to it. The piece to the east, I believe, is owned private, but again, that has a future land use designation as residential. There will still be some remaining residential land use on this, the remaining 14 plus acres on this parcel. So you can't really foretell the future, but
Right.
Mini storage is a commercial use, but it is basically an accessory use for residential. As we know, everyone seems to not have enough storage space in their home. So there is some additional self-storage just up Highway 75 and 15th Avenue North.
Right.
So there is some in the area. Otherwise, we do have, single family residential across the highway, but there is mostly commercial along the highway corridor. I don't know if that answered your question or not.
It does. The zoning of the existing storage unit those are not community commercial, is that correct?
The existing ones on 15th Avenue?
That is correct, yes.
That is actually, that looks light industrial to me.
So I guess that raises the question for me of why community commercial for this, and what's the rationale for community commercial for this particular rezone?
It would follow the land use plan. Light industrial would not follow the land use plan. So because there was already community commercial planned at the corner of this parcel,
Okay.
Extending the line slightly to include more of this soon to be subdivided lot, it would that makes land use sense when you're looking at it from a land use planning perspective.
Okay.
Self-storage is allowed in light industrial by right. They don't have to have a conditional use permit, but they do have to have a permit in community commercial. And that allows the Planning Commission and the council to actually put, conditions, further conditions than what's in the ordinance now, for if it is going to be located in a residential area, they can put more screening up, more landscaping up to buffer it from the residential uses. Self-storage is very low intense use. It's generally quiet. So there's, traffic is kind of sporadic. It's not a heavy traffic use. Even if residential would develop to the east on that institutional zone property, I would believe it'd still be a compatible use because it will be screened.
Okay. You've more than answered my question on that. I think you got ahead of where I was going to ask. The reason I was asking though is probably less about traffic flow than more about just sort of character of the buildings. It seems that in light industrial areas, these things can be, quite frankly, pretty shoddy construction. The one that's at 15th Avenue North on the corner is actually reasonably nice, and I would think it'd be advantageous for the city to be able to put some conditions on this newly proposed one to get it at least up to that standard. So what you're saying is that with the community commercial designation, because this is not necessarily this is a conditional use for community commercial,
Correct.
that we can sort of get this up to a higher standard. Is that correct?
Correct, and it's also in the gateway overlay, which has some additional standards for this type of use. When the one up on 15th Avenue was built, I don't believe the gateway standards were in place. So this one will be, I believe it's generally they build them, secure facilities. So they have a fence surrounding it. If it does or does not, it's still going to have considerable landscaping around it to screen the use from the highway,
Right.
To meet the gateway standards.
And they're trying to achieve 5.85 acres of rezone. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Which is not insubstantial, and that's much larger actually than the property at 15th Avenue North.
Correct.
Okay. All right. That's all the questions I have. Thanks.
Okay, does anybody else have any questions for Robin or for the applicant? Looks like Steve Lindas does.
I don't know if you can see my virtual hand or if I have to raise a real hand. So I did both. Thank you, Chair Mathen. Robin, I'm not sure if this is for you or for the applicant. You already answered by your extension of Commissioner Beam's questions a lot of what I had questions about. But I guess one of the questions is why only partial kind of use or rezoning. But the bigger question was mainly how this would impact possible future directions. So that's the first question, really.
Future directions of the
Well,
site.
you started with this a little bit already, and maybe it's a nuance, yeah, it's a future prediction. But if you put in a mini storage unit, is that going to make the rest of this partial not something that people would want to put in, some other type of building in there, right? So in other words, right now it's residential zoned. Does it mean that once you start doing this, once you go down this road, that now other residential construction along this area or in this area is negatively impacted?
I would say, just from a planning perspective, I think, there is still room to do some housing there. It might shift it to maybe higher density housing, like maybe an apartment building. Kind of depends on how they can, because it's a strange shaped lot. And they might have to, we have 2 city-owned parcels kind of on the corner there of the highway that those may be available to incorporate into this parcel as well. So there's still room. And I think, high density and this commercial use could work, or, it may make it more amenable to just rezone the entire parcel later to commercial if the owners can find a compatible use or someone interested. I did include some history on this parcel. We actually did have a subdivision proposed with quite a few housing units. I don't know if I listed, see on page, in 2015, so that's on page 28. In 2015, it was platted for 170 units of multifamily, and the developer just did not move forward with the project, which, that happens. But I would say, you know, if there's still room and if it's, if it works out, you know, situating buildings, I think they still could do multifamily on this lot. They would just, you know, it's up to really up to the market. But I think this strange cutout of this shape of the 5.585 acres, I don't think that will limit the rest of the parcel. I think that parcel will still develop eventually. Whether it's residential or commercial, we don't know.
Right. So that was a great segue to the second question, which was market. I guess I'm clear. I'm always cognizant that I want to make sure that when something's built, that's actually used. So this might not be you, but maybe the developer could say, you know, a little bit about the market for mini storage. What was the allusion? It was already alluded that there's a lot of demand, but is there knowledge that it's going to be a well-utilized facility?
And Chair Mattson, I'll let the applicant answer that.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. You know, we've had some feasibility studies done on mini storage in Moorhead as a whole, and the demand far outweighs the supply. We wouldn't invest the kind of money it would take to build this facility if we didn't think it would be utilized. It would, however, be, we would, you know, probably over the course of 3 years, build this facility. It's not all going to be built in one summer. And then as it's built, it will fill. If you remember the facility there on the corner of 15th Avenue North and 75, they kind of did the same thing. It wasn't built all in one shot. It was kind of built in stages. But yeah, no, I certainly think that it's certainly feasible that it would probably fill rather quickly based on demand, current demand.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Trapp. That's all that I had. Thank you.
Okay, anybody else have any other questions for Robin or for the applicant? Okay, would the applicant like to address the commission any further?
Not at this point, Robin, thank you.
And are there any citizens that wish to be heard either for or against the requested action?
Chair Mattson, not at this time.
Okay, can I get a motion to close the public hearing, please?
I move to close the public hearing.
Haney, second.
Any discussion? Please.
Mattson,
Yes.
Hammer,
Yes.
Beam,
Yes.
McKinstry,
Yes.
Lindas,
Yes.
and Haney.
Yes.
Okay, can I get a motion on the item, please?
This is McKinstry. I move to approve the applicant's request and consideration of rezoning from RLD3 to the community commercial as recommended by the city staff and as presented to the Planning Commission.
Second that motion.
Okay, I'm gonna open the floor to discussion, and since I have the gavel, I'm gonna start. So this is, like I said, this is over not far from where I live. To me, I think that community commercial makes more sense in that particular location than residential anyway. It's kind of a weird spot, and I think storage units, if that's something there's demand for, I think it's actually a pretty good spot for it. It's right off the highway, and there's not a lot else that is going to be disrupted by that in any way. So for me, I think I don't have an issue with it as someone who lives right over there. Is there anyone else that has anything else they'd like to say about this before we vote on the motion?
No.
Okay.
No.
Robin, can I get a roll call vote, please?
Mattson,
Yes.
Hammer,
Yes.
Beam,
Yes.
McKinstry,
Yes.
Lindos,
Yes.
and Haney.
Yes.
Okay, the motion passes. And so we will move on to our next public hearing, which is the second part of this one. It's a request of S. Craft for the following considerations at 2300 8th Avenue North. Amend the comprehensive plan for the same 5.85 acres from low density residential and community commercial to community commercial. Can I get a motion to open the public hearing, please?
McKinstry, I move to open the public hearing.
Second.
Any discussion? Can I get a roll call vote, please?
Mattson,
Yes.
Hammer,
Yes.
Beam,
Yes.
McKinstry,
Yes.
Lindos,
Yes.
and Haney.
Yes.
Okay, Robin, do you have any additional background information for us on this item?
I do not.
Okay. Do any of the members of the commission have any questions for Robin or for the applicant?
No.
No.
Doesn't sound like it. Would the applicant, Mr. Kraft, would you like to address the commission at all on this item?
No, thank you, Robin.
Okay. Are there any citizens who wish to be heard either for or against the requested action?
Not at this time, Chair Mattson.
Okay. Can I get a motion to close the public hearing, please?
This is McKinstry. I move to close the public hearing.
Haney, second.
Any discussion? Can I get a roll call vote, please?
Mattson,
Yes.
Hammer,
Yes.
Beam,
Yes.
McKinstry,
Yes.
Lindos,
Yes.
and Haney.
Yes.
Okay, can I get a motion on the item, please?
This is McKinstry. I move that the commission approve the rezoning request from RLD3 to community commercial. Is that correct? Or is that what?
No,
Okay.
We are voting to amend the comprehensive
to
plan.
amend. Oh, okay.
RLD and community commercial to community commercial.
Okay. Then I move to amend the comprehensive plan from RLD3 to community commercial.
Chair Mattson,
Yes.
the comprehensive plan amendment is from low density residential and community commercial to community commercial only. So item number
Okay.
2, just for clarification.
Okay. So I'll move that we move comprehensive plan be amended from low density residential and community commercial to community commercial as presented to the planning commission as recommended by the city staff.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Doesn't sound like it. So Robin, can I get a roll call vote, please?
Mattson,
Yes.
Hammer,
Yes.
Beam,
Yes.
McKinstry,
Yes.
Lindos,
Yes.
and Haney.
Yes.
Okay, the motion passes. And that concludes our public hearings for today. Robin, do we have any other business to discuss?
No other business. I just included the Minnesota Planning magazine just for your reference.
Okay, any other reports or information?
Nothing, Chair Mattson.
Okay, can I get a motion to adjourn, please?
McKinstry, I move to adjourn.
Haney, second.
Discussion on that? Do we need to vote?
No, you do not.
I always ask that question every single time. I don't know why. Okay, great. Great meeting, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Thanks,
you.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Good to see people virtually.